Now let's get going, folks, and we'll begin like we will every day here on Menzoid Mornings with something that's really grinding my gears. Time now for the Menzoid monologue. Well, a weekend ago, an armed robbery took place at a TD Canada Trust branch in Toronto. That's not really news, unfortunately, but this robbery had a twist. Lenroy Jackson, the 27-year-old bastard who was holding up the bank, was attacked by a customer, Carl Fraser, 53. Evidently, Fraser didn't believe Lenroy's semi-automatic handgun was real. Fraser was wrong. It was real, and it was loaded. A shot rang out, hitting a teller in the leg. Now, at this point, Lenroy made a run for it, with Carl Fraser hot in pursuit. Lenroy shot his unarmed pursuer right in the abdomen and then sped off in a getaway car. Now, Fraser suffered life-threatening injuries and was rushed to hospital. Days later, Lenroy Jackson and his accomplice, another cowardly bastard by the name of Andre Palmer, were arrested. Charges were laid, including attempted murder, and the victims are now recovering in hospital. But what is fascinating is the fallout in the public square. Various columnists and talk radio hosts and other pundits are weighing in on the story, and the prevalent theme is this: Carl Fraser was a reckless fool for making like Charles Bronson and trying to stop the holdup. Hey, I get it, the creeps were only after the money and the bank is insured against theft. So the argument goes, Fraser should have been like everybody else that day, namely cooperate, don't get involved. And yet, we live in a day and age where not getting involved is the mantra of an entire generation, folks. We live in an increasingly emancipated society in which men are supposed to do nothing in the face of evil, unless, of course, you count taking out one's smartphone and making a video recording of the carnage. Thus, it says here that Fraser's reaction was a much-needed breath of fresh air. It says here that Fraser summoned old-school courage to stop a thug who obviously had no regard for human life. And it says here that Fraser was being a man. What a concept. In fact, the only other remarkable element about this story is that Fraser himself wasn't charged with assaulting the gunman, for this is, alas, how the Toronto Police Service rolls these days under the abysmal progressive leadership of Billy Blair, Toronto's sissified police chief in a pink dress. But far from being lambasted for recklessness, Carl Fraser should be lauded for his bravery. I think back to United Airlines Flight 93 on September 11, 2001. We all know what happened there, namely a group of passengers rushed the Islamists who were hijacking the plane. Yes, Flight 93 crashed, killing everyone on board. But had those brave passengers merely cowered in their seats like terrified hamsters, we also know the death toll would have been much higher, given that this aircraft, like the other three planes hijacked that day, was being used as a guided missile. Does anyone dare criticize these brave individuals for what they did on 9/11? The polar opposite was the Catherine Kitty Genovese story that occurred almost 50 years ago. On March 13, 1964, 28-year-old Catherine Genovese was raped and killed in two separate late-night attacks near her home in Kew Gardens, Queens. New York police later found that at least 38 people, 38, had eyewitnessed the attacks or at least heard Kitty scream. Not a single person intervened, and only one woman eventually called the police. As Martin Gansberg recalled in his shocking New York Times expose, quote, for more than half an hour, 38 respectable, law-abiding citizens in Queens watched a killer stalk and stab a woman in 3 separate attacks in Kew Gardens. Twice their chatter and the sudden glow of their bedroom lights interrupted him and frightened him off. Each time he returned, sought her out, and stabbed her again. Not one person telephoned the police during the assault. One witness called after the woman was dead. So it's your choice, folks. Either you get involved and you stand up to the human garbage that tries and sometimes succeeds in making our lives miserable, or you turn the other cheek and you don't get involved and you let the lunatics run the asylum. Carl Fraser is not a reckless fool. He's a brave man. He hails from the old school of death before dishonor. Far from criticizing this courageous individual, he should be applauded and rewarded for at least trying to make a difference in a world that increasingly looks the other way in the face of thuggery and evil. And that's the Menzoid monologue.